give you some pointers on how to get through a book, right? I've come across a lot of people who've been telling me that they cannot, for the life of them, get through, like, read an entire book. They might read it, get to a certain point, and then stop reading it for some other reason. I literally have a friend who has like a laundry basket full of books, and when I asked her how many she's read, she only said she's finished about 2 of those books. And I was like, I wonder what could be the reason. So today I'm here to give you pointers that work for me on how you can finish a book. Point number 1, do a little bit a day, you know. You can't finish everything in, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So, especially if you're not in the habit of reading, like, just read a little bit a day at a time. One day at a time, just read 2 pages, 1 page, if it is really that difficult for you. But don't do too much at once, or don't try to finish the book. Like, let it not be your aim to actually finish the book, Just read a few pages and see how it goes, and, find yourself wanting to read more of the book. Don't force it, don't overexert. Just let it be natural. The second thing is find the rhythm of the book. Every book for me, in my personal experience, has had a rhythm to it. And it's different for every book, to be quite honest. So, to add on to the first point, find the rhythm of the book, do a little bit a day, and the little bit creates a lot. So once you find what the book is actually about, like if you read 1 page at a time, you don't actually do too much, then you actually find where, the rhythm in the book. And it's the same as like a song or whatever the case is. Like, everything has its own rhythm. Like, some books are fast-paced, some books are slow, and they take a while to get into the actual plot of the story. So don't rush it, basically. So yeah. The third thing is to try not to go straight for the review at the end. Try by all means not to go for the review at the end or the back page. Don't read that. Let that not be the first thing that you read when you pick up the book. Rather, instead of reading the back of the page, rather read the epilogue or read the prelude, whatever it is that is in, before the book. That, I found that is more, it gives the book some sort of interesting aspects. Like, this is what you can find, and it is connected, most of the time it is connected to some part of the story. So yeah, with the back, the review at the back, I'm not completely, you can read it once you've set into the book. The only problem with that is that it gives you, it's like a trailer. It doesn't completely introduce you to the book. It gives you a synopsis of what the book is, basically. So it's better for you to read the epilogue or read the prelude and then get into the book. And maybe one day when you're just, browsing through your book collection, you can read the back of the book, and, once you read some of the pages in the book, it actually makes more sense. The review at the back makes more sense than you straight away going for the review. So that's what I've actually picked up. So the fourth point is that once you get to an exciting bit of the story, Like, leave the next part for the next day, you know, or the next time you read the book. Almost make it like the end of a series or the end of an episode in a series, you know. That's how I feel when I'm reading books. It's like one great big series. It's a series, season one of whatever the case is, whatever the name of the book is, you know. So leave that chapter when you get to like, oh my god, something happens, and then you are really excited to find out what happens in the next chapter. Like, especially if you're reading while you're in bed and you have to sleep, like rather sleep and like don't like wait for it, like as if you're waiting for an episode, the next episode of an exciting series, you know. That really leaves a lot to the brain, and it actually makes you want to pick up the book the next time and read many more chapters, instead of, you know, you finishing that one chapter and then you have nothing to look forward to the next time you pick up the book, because the next chapter is not as interesting. So make it an experience for yourself, man. Like, make it work for you, basically. Like, make it the most thrilling experience that you could ever have. The fifth pointer is that you should just have fun with it. Like, just have fun with it. The one thing that I can tell you that I do that is, I don't know, like people do, but I think a few people do this. I would usually like switch the lights off, put a candle on, light some incense, like make it freaking dramatic for days. You know, sometimes have a glass of wine in my hand, like feel like I'm in a movie, like it should be the most dramatic experience of my life when I'm reading, like it should be. And sometimes, especially when you're like engulfed in that movie, it's just that, you know, it adds that extra thing that, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm sitting in the scene of this book. It's the same thing. Like, just make it an experience for yourself. Like, enjoy it thoroughly. Like, reading a book, once again, is like any other work of art. You have to relish in it. You have to be in it, especially when you're like in the middle of the book, when you are like within the plot, when you are experiencing every emotion, all the nuances that the characters are experiencing. So just have fun with it. Like, don't be like, oh, okay, I'm reading just because, like, for the sake of reading. Like, I do the most dramatic shit, and also my surroundings are dramatic. Like, I live opposite a library, you know what I mean? Like, when I look outside, it's just like, yeah, it's make your surroundings dramatic. I've tried to put like sort of paintings on the wall, you know what I mean? Everything about my space is just super dramatic. But I'm not saying that it's specifically to be reading in the space, but it actually helps. Like, it just makes you want to be in a fantasy world, in an unreal world, you know what I mean? So have fun with it. So the sixth pointer that I have is, if you find that the book that you're reading is a bit slow in the beginning, or even in the middle, or you know, you just find that you can't finish it for some other reason, there's absolutely no reason why you can't start a new book in the interim. I'm not saying like read 10 books at a time, but you know, just you can have 2 books. And usually what I do is that I have 2 books of different genres. So it would be one that is super dramatic, like, you know, let's say I'm reading a Dan Brown, you know, there's, you know, facts, and you know, so the storyline is usually like a serious storyline where, you know, they're chasing after something, whatever, and then like you can substitute it with a more light-hearted, you know, like a novel that is more light-hearted, like maybe a love story, or just like a everyday people's story, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why you can't do that. And then when you find the rhythm in the one book, and you can sort of substitute the one for the other. If this one, it's like watching two series at a time, basically. I'm always going to make this analogy of the series, because for me that really, reading a book is the same as reading a series, as watching a series. So it's like me watching Game of Thrones on the one hand, and on the other hand I can watch Modern Family. Like, you just substitute the one for the other. Like, the one thing that I couldn't watch, and yeah, I know that I'm veering off of the subject a little bit right now, I couldn't watch Black Mirror like binge watch it like consecutively. I had to take a day or two, a breather or whatever, and watch something else. Black Mirror was really like it was very psychologically taxing thing for me to watch. So I would substitute it with something more lighthearted, with something like Modern Family. I watch Modern Family a lot. So yeah, same with books. Like, if I'm reading a very intricate, intense book on the one hand, I like to substitute it with another book that is more lighthearted, that you can actually, it has jokes, you can laugh, like that kind of thing. So don't be afraid to do that. And also, I think it actually makes it that you're into one thing and you're into another thing. So if by some miracle you do get to read them both at the same pace, then you can finish 2 books in the space of, like, I don't know, 2 months, however long you take to read, but ultimately you finished 2 books. So yeah, these are just like tips now, they're not like a part of all the pointers. You should get a cool bookmark, man. Like, get a bookmark, for heaven's sake. I know so many people who do not have bookmarks. How do you keep track of where you left the book off? That actually makes or breaks your pattern in like reading books. Like, if you don't have a bookmark, if you don't know where you stopped, you constantly want to start at the beginning of said chapter. Like, if you were in chapter 5 and you were on the last page of chapter 5, when you pick up the book again, you don't know exactly where you were, so you just go back to the beginning of chapter 5, and that could derail your process and your chain of thought, basically. So get a bookmark, guys. Get a bookmark. There are places where you can get cool bookmarks for free. Tip: listen, I get my bookmarks at art galleries. Art galleries have the coolest bookmarks, especially the ones that give out like postcards, the ones that give out bookmarks, whatever. David Crut they've got nice bookmarks, and they usually just give them out. You can have as many as you want. So for however many books that you're reading, you can have one bookmark in each book. So my bookmarks are little pieces of art, and because I'm like obsessed with art. So yeah, get a bookmark, guys. Get a bookmark. The pointers that I've been giving you are mostly for novels, like books that actually have a storyline. Non-fiction books and books that actually, and self-help books and all of those things, they kind of follow a different pattern when you're reading them, and they are more harder to actually finish. But this specific review is for books that actually have a storyline, how to get from one point to the next, to the next, to the next. So one more thing that I can actually say is that you shouldn't actually focus on finishing the book. Rather focus on getting from one chapter to the next. Don't forget about how many pages that specific book has. Forget about you actually, oh, I didn't finish the previous book and all of those things. Like, just forget about that. Just enjoy the book itself. Just enjoy the process of reading. Just enjoy like being in that book, in that moment, in whatever it is that you're doing in that moment. Don't focus on, oh my gosh, I didn't finish this and that, I can't wait to finish this book. If for whatever reason you feel like, I can't wait to finish this book, it just means that you're not enjoying the book. Like you're not following it accordingly, you know. Like the author's trying to take you through a journey, and if you ever get to a point where you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to finish this book for whatever reason, it means that you're not enjoying the book. Also, another tip that I can give you is that it is usually easier to find your rhythm within books when you find that one book that actually, like, you know, it just makes you want to read it all the time, you know. Once you've found that book, I know it's one of the most difficult things, but once you've actually found that book, I feel like it's easier after that to read more books and to find the pattern in other books, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I can say. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And my name is Thabi, once again. My surname is Dladla. I'm here for everything. I don't know. Right now I'm reviewing a book. Probably most of my time I'll be talking about books because I enjoy reading. But I'll also be talking about art. I'll be talking about music. I'm just, you know, a worldly person. I enjoy everything that is art, everything that is literature, and I just want to share my experiences with you guys. So I appreciate the time that you've taken to be here with me, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.